Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. And I am sitting in front of my Criterion Collection shelves today because it's time for an updated Criterion Collection tour. So we are, as of filming, in the month of July, which of course is a very popular month for Criterion and Criterion Collection videos, because everyone is shopping the 50% off sale at Barnes & Noble. So I figured before I start going out and buying some Criterion Collection titles, I should show you guys what I currently have. So that's what we're gonna do today. I always say it when I'm over here, but I do apologize if the audio is not great. My furnace is going and I can't turn it off. It is extremely hot. My family's upstairs. I can't have them melting just to do a video. So apologies if it doesn't sound great, but I'm going to flip things around here and show you guys what my Criterion Collection looks like as of now. So let's get into it. Before we do though, if you have a quick second, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. But with that said, let's not waste any more time at all. You know what? Let's waste a couple more seconds because I just remembered I wanted to say a couple other things. You'll notice as I go through these, a ton of these are still sealed. That doesn't necessarily mean I haven't seen the movie. I probably have seen it in some other format. I just haven't opened the Criterion Collection edition of it yet. That said, a lot of these I just haven't watched yet. I'm not going to apologize for that anymore. I always talk about it in all my collection tours. It's just the way it is. It's how collectors are. So tons of things here for me to still experience. So with that said, now let's dive right in to a tour of my Criterion Collection. I was thinking about this earlier, but I really feel like this corner of my collection is kind of the best representation of who I am as a person. We have on these shelves here, which I already did a tour of, my Scream Factory collection. Definitely check that tour out if you're interested. And then another tour I already completed is my pro wrestling collection. So sandwiched in between schlocky horror movies and pro wrestling, we have my Criterion Collection, which is so ridiculous, but boy, does that describe me to a T. So I love this corner of my collection. But with that said, let's get started here. So I'll start with actually my Eclipse series. So the first one here is When Horror Came to Shochiku, and this is Eclipse Series 37. And then we have Basil Dearden's London Underground, which is Eclipse Series 25. And then last but not least for the Eclipse series, we have The Actuality Dramas of Alan King, Eclipse series number 24. So very limited on my Eclipse series, but I definitely wanted to include them here. All right, let's get started. So first up, we have America Lost and Found, the BBS story. You can see all of the movies listed there on Blu-ray. I won't read them all off, but you can see them on the spine there as well. Some really good classics in there. Then we have Anatomy of a Murder, Andrei Rublev, Antichrist, which is a crazy film, Lars von Trier. I need to see more of his work because this movie is awesome in all the weirdest ways possible. And then I have my DVDs kind of spread in here as well, but this is a cool one because it's Armageddon from the Criterion Collection, which I love to have. And then we have The Awful Truth, The Bank Dick, another DVD only, which frankly I didn't like that one at all. Barry Lyndon, Kubrick film. The Battle of Algiers, Beauty and the Beast, the Before trilogy by Richard Linklater. I really need to get on these. I've heard amazing things about them. Being John Malkovich, Belle de Jour, The Blob, this is still the DVD, I have not upgraded yet. A neo-noir masterpiece, Blood Simple by the Coen brothers. Blowout, another neo-noir that is fantastic. Blow Up. Blue is the Warmest Color, based on the graphic novel. Bottle Rocket, one of my Wes Anderson films that I still need to see. Bowling for Columbine, one of the greatest documentaries ever, in my opinion. And Brazil. I utterly adore this film. I need to watch it again. I've not watched it a second time since I've had the Blu-ray, but just a brilliant film. So that is shelf number one, and you can actually see It's at the bottom of my of my Scream Factory collection. I finally sorted things out a little bit to so that I could show this to you guys. So let's move on now to shelf number 2. All right, so now on to my other shelf, which you can see some things on the top there, totally random, but figured I'd share it with you guys. So starting off this shelf, we have the Godard film Breathless, and then A Brighter Summer Day, which is supposed to be just phenomenal. I definitely have to check that out soon. Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant in Bringing Up Baby. Broadcast News. The Brood from Cronenberg. The Bruce Lee Greatest Hits Collection. Carnival of Souls, a phenomenal horror movie that everyone should check out. I didn't expect to like that one nearly as much as I did, but it's done super well. Cat People. One of the out-of-print ones, we have Chungking Express. Another DVD, this one of Chasing Amy. Then a silent film, Charlie Chaplin film, City Lights. Close Up. The war film, Come and See. More Cronenberg, we have Crash. And Chronos. Next up is Crumb. And then one of the weird ones, the blue case Criterion. We have The Case of Benjamin Button. The David Lynch documentary, I guess? I'm not really sure, but The Art of Life. Terrence Malick's Day of Heaven. Linklater's Dazed and Confused. Deep Cover. Detour, a wonderful film noir. The Devil's Backbone. Diabolique. Don't Look Now, which honestly, I was not the biggest fan of. Do the Right Thing. This one's really cool. It's a big old thick one. I think this might be the only 4K in my collection so far. This is Double Indemnity, which is just a wonderful film noir. The Brian De Palma film, Dressed to Kill. Oh, I meant to turn all of these around before I started filming, but I clearly missed one. This is Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Not the biggest fan of that movie, if I'm being honest. Eating Raoul. On the next shelf, we have the Fellini film, 8½, which honestly, I don't love that one. It's another one. I don't get it. I've seen it a couple times and I just don't get it. Then we have The Elephant Man and Eraserhead, so a couple of David Lynch films back to back there. Then we have Eyes Without a Face, which I watched last year or the year before, and I thought that one was pretty decent. Fail Safe. Bergman's Fanny and Alexander. This is a cool box set. 3 Fantastic Journeys by Carl Zeman. The Fantastic Mr. Fox. Fantastic Planet. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, another one that I'm not the biggest fan of. The Fisher King, on the other hand, is absolutely awesome. A great performance there by Jeff Bridges and Robin Williams. It is just fantastic. And then we have Following. This is Nolan's first film. Very well done for what it is. And then For All Mankind. This one is actually also now available in 4K. And then we have Funny Games. And this is the original film from, what year is this? 1997. I've seen both, and I don't know which one I like more, but they're both worth seeing. They're both just like super weird home invasion films that I highly recommend. Then we have The Game. I watched that for the first time last year, I think, and I loved it. Ghost World absolutely blew me away when I watched it. That's a 5-star must-see film. Gimme Shelter with the Rolling Stones. This one is good, but I didn't like it as much as most people do, I guess I'll say. Then we have Godzilla, which hopefully I remember at the end to show another Godzilla item I have in my collection, just in a different spot. Then we have another Chaplin film, The Gold Rush. This one is pretty darn funny. The Graduate, one of my all-time favorite films. More Chaplin, The Great Dictator. Grey Gardens. This one actually has like 2 feature-length films on it, which is pretty cool. Another DVD here of Hamlet. And then Harold and Maude. Another Shakespeare DVD, Henry V. The Hidden Fortress, one of the inspirations for Star Wars. Akira Kurosawa's High and Low. History is Made at Night, wonderful film that was recommended to me by John over at PlatX2. Definitely recommend that one. And then Hoop Dreams, another one that I think just got a 4K announcement, but I still have the DVD as I haven't watched it yet. And then House, a really weird horror film that, again, I think other people like it better than I did. Steve McQueen's Hunger. The Ice Storm by Ang Lee. If. The In-Laws, which I haven't seen in a long time, but I loved it when I saw it. Inside Llewyn Davis. In the Mood for Love. In the Realm of the Senses. Scorsese's The Irishman. Island of Lost Souls, another one I thought I would like more than I did the first time I watched it anyway. Ivan's Childhood, another Tarkovsky film. I Want to Hold Your Hand. More Gilliam with Jabberwocky. Jubal, which is a phenomenal Western. I loved that one. More Fellini with Juliet of the Spirits. That's on DVD. More Chaplin, The Kid. And The Killing, another just film that blew me away. This is the movie that I cite as, like, if I could watch it again for the first time, it would be The Killing. Such a great movie. And then we have Kiss Me Deadly. And Kuroneko, I believe is how you pronounce that one. And then The Complete Lady Snowblood, so 2 Lady Snowblood movies. The Lady Vanishes. My disc actually had, I don't know if it was disc rot or what it was, but it didn't work. And so I had to send in for a new disc, which fortunately does work. And it's a wonderful Hitchcock film. La Haine, which stands for The Hate, another really good movie. The Last Emperor. The Last Temptation of Christ, another Scorsese film. The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, another one that I did not expect to love, and I did. It was wonderful. Another DVD here of The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. The Life of Brian on DVD in the Criterion Collection, which is just cool. Then we have Lone Wolf and Cub, which I think is like a handful of movies. 1, 2, 3, yeah, it looks like 5 or 6 different movies there, which is pretty darn cool. So, good one for the collection. Lord of the Flies. Love Affair. M, I think probably the first Criterion Collection film I ever watched, and it was really well done. Make Way for Tomorrow, an absolutely stunning movie. I cannot recommend this enough. Another one I will thank John over at PlatX2 for, because it's wonderful in every way. Man Bites Dog. I just remember that I traded somebody for this like 10 or 15 years ago. Still haven't watched it. And then A Man Escaped. Down to our next shelf here, we have Marriage Story. And then Medium Cool. Memories of Murder. Minding the Gap, which is a skateboarding documentary. And then Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters by Paul Schrader. More Chaplin with Modern Times. Another Chaplin, Monsieur Verdoux. I could be butchering that. Oh, another one I forgot to flip around, but we have Mulholland Drive. My Darling Clementine. Naked. The Naked Kiss. And Naked Lunch, another Cronenberg film. And we have more Terrence Malick with The New World. The Night of the Hunter, probably the first Criterion Collection Blu-ray I ever bought, though I didn't watch it until very recently, but just a phenomenal movie. Night of the Living Dummy, of course, a horror classic. And The Night Porter, which I only grabbed because it was super cheap at Disc Replay a while back. Speaking of cheap Disc Replay finds, there's One-Eyed Jacks. More Brando on the Waterfront. Then we have Othello by Orson Welles. The Del Toro Pan's Labyrinth, just a beautiful film. It's so well done. And then one of my favorites that I watched for the first time last year, Parasite. I was so moved by this movie in every way imaginable. It's just brilliant. Then we have Paris, Texas. Paths of Glory, another wonderful Kubrick film that I cannot recommend enough. People on Sunday. Personal Shopper. The Phantom Carriage. And then the Pier Paolo Pasolini's Trilogy of Life, which I'm not looking forward to checking this one out, to be honest. I watched Salo for the first time a couple years ago, and I just hated it. And so I'm not looking forward to watching these. I did buy that, of course, before I watched Salo, because that's what I do. Police Story 1 and 2. The original has just some of the most jaw-dropping stunt work in it. It's insane. Portrait of a Lady on Fire, another 5-star film for me. One of my favorites that I watched for the first time in 2021. Absolutely stunning, as I keep repeating, but some of these are just amazing films. And then we have The Princess Bride, another favorite of mine. Quadrophenia, which is tons of The Who music in that, another really fun one. And then Akira Kurosawa's Rashomon. All right, getting close to the ground here, we have a Red River, which is a box set. It actually has the book in it too, which is pretty cool. And then The Red Shoes, another one that is available on 4K, but I just have the Blu-ray. Repo Man, such a good movie, like the definition of cult classic right there. Check that one out. Repulsion. More Shakespeare with Richard III. Robinson Crusoe on Mars, a very underrated selection in the Criterion Collection, in my opinion. Roma. And Roma. Rosemary's Baby, great movie, of course. Rushmore. The Royal Tenenbaums. This is Harold Lloyd's Safety Last. The aforementioned Salo, or The 120 Days of Sodom, just a dreadful film. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments, that's fine. The Samurai Trilogy. Scanners, more Cronenberg, and another one I really didn't like, Science is Fiction. Just a bunch of underwater documentaries that, like, I respect it for what it is, but boy, it was boring. The lower I get, the more shadows I get, so I apologize for that, but we have Seconds. Seven Samurai, another early Criterion Collection buy for me, and it's just a great film. The Seventh Seal, really well done Bergman film. Sex, Lies, and Videotapes, another one I adored, another 5-star film for me if I'm not mistaken. Then we have Shaft. Oh, that's right, I do have this one on 4K as well, I totally forgot. Shock Corridor. Sid and Nancy, another Alex Cox film, so I have to watch it. This is from the director of Repo Man. The Silence of the Lambs. Sisters. Slacker, which is a super unique movie. Definitely check that out if you're interested in, like, not mumblecore necessarily, but kind of similar. Obviously, this would have predated the mumblecore craze, but just interesting film. Then we have Solaris. The Squid and the Whale. I was blown away when I watched this one. I haven't watched my Criterion Collection version of it yet, so I need to revisit it. Then we have Stagecoach. Stalker, Stranger Than Paradise on DVD, and Sunday, Bloody Sunday. All right, we are at the floor, so the lighting is going to be the worst down here. We have Sweet Smell of Success, Thief, Thief of Baghdad on DVD, Things to Come, The Thin Blue Line, another really awesome documentary, The Thin Red Line, so more Terrence Malick, Hitchcock's The 39 Steps, and then we have the Three Colors trilogy, one of my early ones in my collection, and I've not yet watched these, so I have to get around to those. Then we have 310 to Yuma, more Gilliam with Time Bandits, The Times of Harvey Milk, I'll say it again, a phenomenal documentary, Traffic, The Tree of Life, so more Terrence Malick. I believe I have all of the Malick films in my collection at this point. Except for, no, I think this was the last one I needed, was Tree of Life. Anyway, 12 Angry Men, absolutely brilliant film, but I don't need to tell you that, you already know. Under the Volcano, another DVD. And The Uninvited, a really well done horror film. Not great, but worth watching. All right, getting down to the end here. We have Until the End of the World. Vampire, another one that's not my favorite, but it does come with the book, which is pretty cool. Variety Light, no more Fellini on DVD. My buddy sold me a bunch when he got the Fellini box set. And Then we have Vengeance Is Mine, I want to say Japanese, am I right there? Yeah, Japanese serial killer film. Videodrome, which I actually have to turn around. There we go. Oh, just such a cool sci-fi movie. More Cronenberg. Then we have The Virgin Suicides. Walker. War of the Worlds, which this actually is available on 4K, but not from Criterion. The War Room. Watership Down. Weekend. White Dog. Wings of Desire, which, if I'm not mistaken, this is what City of Angels was based off of. Woman in the Dunes. World on a Wire. And last but certainly not least, we have Y Tu Mama Tambien, which is a phenomenal coming-of-age road movie that I absolutely loved. So that is my Criterion collection. And boy, these are always a trip to film. So hopefully you guys liked looking through those. Let's wrap this guy up though. So as I was getting ready to outro this video, I remembered there are a couple other things I have to show you guys. So first off, Badlands, a Terrence Malick's first effort, actually. I forgot that I had this one somewhere else because that's another video which you may already have seen on the channel or will be coming, but whatever, I review that in there. But then I have the big one here, the Godzilla set. This thing is phenomenal. It's gorgeous and has 15 Godzilla movies. So I do have this, but obviously I can't keep it over here. So I forgot about grabbing those, but I'm glad I remembered right at the end here. So now that is my complete Criterion collection. All right, so that was my complete Criterion collection, at least as of filming, but it is early July when I'm doing this, so who knows what my collection will look like by the end of the month. But frankly, I only have about 4 or 5 on my list to pick up, so hopefully I won't go nuts, but we will see. But let me know down in the comments below, what are must-haves that I am missing out on? I would love to hear any recommendations from you guys down below, so please let me know your thoughts. And of course, my camera died. My SD card got filled right before I was finishing up my outro, so I had to switch over to my much shakier iPhone, but hopefully it's all right. But anyway, guys, again, leave your comments down below on my collection and things that you think I should add to it. But that is going to do it for today. So if you guys enjoyed this one, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. And like I always say, I don't just talk movies. I talk all things media, be it books, movies, video games, graphic novels, manga. If it's media related, I'm interested in it. And if you are too, you might consider subscribing. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. And I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.